What it do, what it do, what it do, YouTube? What's good, what's good, what's good? Okay, so here we are with the juice bike. I found a little controller. So actually, this little teeny controller actually came out of scooter. And it's 25 amps. A lot more powerful than the, let's see, what was in this juice? 20 amp. Okay, yeah, that's a lot more powerful, but it's a little more powerful, 5 amps. And it's 52 volt controller, so it's semi about the same size as what was in there. Now, I'm going to show you guys a little something this morning. And I had to show a friend of mine this. And a lot of people don't know this. So I was kind of surprised. Well, I didn't expect them to know it for sure, but it's funny how many people don't know this. Now, guys and gals, let me tell you, just because your bike has what you may think is a proprietary battery that only you can use those batteries, like, okay, this is a juice bike. So someone would think, oh, I can't put another battery on my bike other than this battery from Juice. Totally not true. Any e-bike, they all use cradles that their so-called proprietary batteries sit in. But I guarantee you, if you unscrew and remove that battery cradle, the cradle that the battery sits in, if you remove the cradle and trace the wires down, at the end of that wire will be a standard XT60, just like any other stock e-bike out there. So don't ever think that the only battery that you can use on your stock e-bike is just a proprietary battery, no matter what the brand is. Bullshit. All you gotta do is find a battery that you can physically mount somewhere on your bike, you know, that can physically fit somewhere. And even if it don't physically fit, man, you can stick a battery up there and have it taped on there with duct tape and bungee cords. But at the end of those power wires is going to be a XT60. I guarantee most told you. And you can hook it up to your bike. I don't know how many people think that they have to buy a $3,000 or I mean a $1,000 battery from shoot, Super 73, and that's the only battery they can put on their e-bike is a Super 73 battery. If you disconnect that controller from underneath your seat in that Super 73, it will have an XT60 on it, and you can hook up any battery you want to. Now anyway, back to this juice bike. So anyway, like I said, like I assumed yesterday, the guy blew this controller up, and all I did was locate another controller that was 52 volts, or I mean at least, or whatever, and wired it up to this juice bike, hooked up a little thumb throttle just so I could test it, and as you can see there, we gonna be getting busy. So anyway, until I figure out what I'm gonna do with Frank, Fred, and Wilma. Yeah, this is gonna be Wilma. Buddy of mine gave me that name, and I'm gonna go with it, Wilma. I think Wilma works. Fred and Wilma. And when my bomber bike gets here, that's gonna be Barney. But anyway, y'all, yeah, man, look, man, I tried to tell you guys before, all e-bikes are the same. They all exist with the same basic components: battery, controller, motor. That's the three main components: battery, controller, motor. Battery, controller, motor. And you can swap battery, controller, motor out between all of them if you know the wiring codes. You know how to work the wires on it. Now check this out. When I hooked up this controller right here, when I hooked up the wires, the phase wires, green to green, yellow to yellow, and blue to blue, guess what? That motor didn't spin right. It was spinning backwards. The wheel wasn't actually going backwards, but you could hear the motor inside spinning backwards. You know what I had to do? I had to reverse the green and the blue wire on the phase wires. When I reverse the green and blue phase wires, then it starts spinning the right way. This is a three-phase motor, three-wire phase motor. I mean, a lot of times when you're switching motors and stuff, they won't match up. If the motor doesn't run correctly, try switching the green and the blue wire, you know, and it'll run right. Anyway, okay, same thing with this. Make sure that the throttle wires are matched up. Now, as you can see here, it's always going to be a black, a red, and a signal wire on any throttle, be it a thumb throttle, be it a full throttle, be it a half twist throttle. They're all going to have a red, a black, and a signal wire. But notice up here where I wired them together, I had to reverse the green and the black wires because they didn't match up. Notice these plugs switched together, red to red, but it's black to green and green to black. Don't just plug it up and think it's going to work like that. Make sure the wires are matching up. So I had to switch the wires around. But yeah, man, this stuff ain't really hard, fellas. But it's a little hard when you got proprietary stuff and you got harnesses and cables like this, and when you pull them apart, you see a whole bunch of pins in the end. But I showed you guys on that Super 73 build how to trace these wires down and determine and figure out what they were. You know, if I had to, I would have cut these plugs off the end of this juice motor. And check this out. Let me show you how slick juice tried to be on this one. Now, like I said, I knew this controller wasn't no good. So I pulled the screws out of it. I was going to take it apart and see if I could locate the issue. But they don't want you messing with their controller so much that on the inside they filled it up with some kind of plastically cement they stuck in there. Watch this. They stuck this gook in there because they don't want you fixing their controller. Now, if I had the patience to sit here and pick all this mess out, I could fix their controller. But this little matchbox controller ain't even worth fixing. Shame on you, juice bikes. But anyway,